let's move it on to our last story of the night, and this is a pretty cool one. Now, last week, if you remember, during our quick hit segment, I actually talked about there was rumors that a new Unreal game was coming out because they had just finished a new Unreal Engine, and so that new Unreal game was supposed to be Unreal 4. And just the other day, they announced plans for the new Unreal 4 game. And it's not that they're making a new game that's so cool, it's the way they're making it. And so Epic Games has said they kind of want to make this as a transparent game. So what they're going to do is they're going to start putting like you're going to be able to see them live putting in like codes and developing all the games, and they want input from other players who are Unreal fans and other developers. So they're going to be making this game in front of the public for all to see. Now they say it's going to be a couple months before they get a playable version of the game, like an alpha ready to go, because they are starting it from scratch with the Unreal Engine. But they really said they wanted to do this just to showcase how easy the Unreal Engine is to use, and I mean it's kind of just marketing themselves. The
That's
next cool
pretty
thing. Yeah, that's really cool. But then the next cool thing is when this game is finished, they are going to release it completely free. Not free to play, completely free.
Wow.
Meaning
for Unreal.
For Unreal Tournament 4 will be a completely free game. They're not going to do all this stuff where you have to, okay, you can free to play, but then you have to pay for this or you have to pay for that. And if you don't pay for all this little stuff that adds up to $1 billion, you can't compete with anybody else in the game. This is just going to come out completely free. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to encourage people to modders, those people out there who already add on to these games, other developers, they want them to say, hey, take a crack at our Unreal game, make us a new level, make us a new weapon, do something with it. And then eventually the plan is to develop a marketplace for all these mods and these things where you can buy, you can sell, or you can even give away content for free. Let's say you're a smaller indie developer, you want to show people, hey, I can do some of this cool stuff too. You throw out your own mod, and maybe you get yourself a little more attention. And so that's how the game is going to be paid for itself, because this marketplace, when it comes into play after the game's release, is really going to generate all the revenue for it. So I think this is a very innovative and new way of doing a game, and they're taking cues from the free-to-play, and they're just kind of adding on to that.
Yeah, and honestly, Epic's not that alien to this kind of project. They have previously released the code and even like open source the code for some of the other Unreal, at least the other Unreal-based games. Like I think, what was it, Quake 3 and one of the other Unreal games I think was released in open source and now has like browser versions of the game and things like that.
There you go.
So it's not completely alien to things that they've done, but I don't think they've ever done it immediately like this. So that's pretty cool, and definitely it encourages people to use it. And I would assume that if a major company is going to use the engine to do stuff, they probably still have to get a licensing fee. So that would encourage it encourages them to like play around with it first and then go for it. I don't know. I don't know if that was part of it, or if they don't need a licensing fee under this condition. But
still, they're also bringing that whole modder community, in which if you don't play games on PC, mostly you're missing out, unfortunately, because I don't really play PC games that much. But a lot of games like Skyrim, you play the game Skyrim, which is huge. I mean, there's hundreds of plus hours of play there. And then if we were to use some of the mods, people create new dungeons, they create new levels, they create new weapons, they create new costumes. You're looking at a game that could last you forever.
Yeah, and people are continually making mods for a lot of these games that encourage modding. Like Skyrim, its longevity is going to last for a while. Like there's still
years.
Yeah, I still see channels that make a top 3 mods of the week or sometimes of the day. So now, like, still doing it, that have come out of all, like, the top 3. So there's so many other mods that have come out within the week or that have started coming up within that week, and they have new content, because there's always like, oh, we'll put on display this new HD armor or this HD remake, which is a minor thing, or this quest or this town or this feature or whatever that like Skyrim does, and a bunch of other games, and even some of the older games, like older Elder Scrolls games, still get mods. Other games that allow for it still get mods. A really obscure one that I used to like to play, Dink, The Adventures of Dink or Free Dink.
Dink?
Yeah, it's called Dink. It was supposed to be like a Zelda-like
Are
game,
you a
but it really wasn't.
Dinkleberry?
Yeah, but it really wasn't. But the game itself is not super long, but they had a mod marketplace, kind of like they're talking about with Unreal, but further back, and I don't think that they charged for as many things charged for anything. But they would have mods based on it that were bigger than the original game, and that was actually most of the fun, was getting these mods that had new storylines, new quests,
Mm-hmm.
because the base storyline that they made was really just basic, getting through establishing the character, and they just expected it to be modded. So, and it
Yeah,
worked
and
out
I
nice.
mean, we've seen this in games like, I believe it was America's Army or some sort of army game where it got modded and turned into a zombie survival horror game, which then the creators took and made it into a real game. So I mean, you have a lot of these things. They just bring new ideas, fresh ideas from angles, from every angle, and it's making it more of a community thing, which I think is really cool because it really brings you that personal attachment to the game, which is amazing for the developers. Because if you can get people that love to get on, love to keep playing your game, you can relatively cheaply keep providing content and then making money off of that. So it's a good model for business, but then we also get cheaper content. We get some of the free stuff. We get and a game that we just love to play over and over and over. It's like, imagine a movie that never ended but just kept going on, and every little bit of the movie you just kept loving, and it just kept adding on and on and on, and you could just keep enjoying the story or whatever you're doing, the adventure. So I just love this idea.
And some of these mods prove somewhat revolutionary or change a lot of things up. Like there were mods for the Warcraft 3 game that led to what is now League of Legends. They had the Dota mod, the Defense of the
Mm-hmm.
Ancients mod, which became a really big game set. Everyone started playing it, even though it wasn't strictly any longer an RTS game set like the game like Warcraft 3 was. And like I said, you had spin-offs from that.
Well, that's where World of Warcraft came from, was another
No,
mod-inspired
well,
thing.
yeah, kind of, but World of Warcraft went the MMORPG option, which was already kind of there, but the Dota option was kind of a new game set that's where you get the League of Legends, this idea of these matches where you play as a hero and build up the tech tree the way that they do in the team environment that they do it in.
Mhm.
That was a big deal. And there's League of Legends. There's Heroes of Newerth, one that I played, which was by the guys that originally worked on that mod. They split off, made a company, and decided to release this kind of game. There's other games like that out now. It's its own genre now. So
Yeah, so there you go. I mean, this is our way of the fans of these games helping inspire the developers of these games, which I mean, they're fans too, but it's just helping keeping all the ideas fresh and moving forward. So, League of Legends, I mean, it's League of Legends. Epic Games, I salute you. I don't know, do you have a sound effect for salutes?
how do sound effects or do salutes make a sound effect or sound at all?
Maybe not. Yeah, I guess you're right. No sound effects for the salutes. None.
It will give us a
Ah, there we go. We applaud you. How about that? We applaud you. I changed my statement. We